Alrighty. Good evening and welcome to Meg Bean's Cottage Fitness. Been a while since I walked down here. I took basically a 2-week break. Couple reasons. It's good to take a break every now and then. About once a year, I try to do this. And it's to reevaluate where I'm going to be and what am I going to do with my lifting. And what I do is I take a good deep look into myself. What am I trying to accomplish? Where am I trying to go? What direction am I heading? And then I look at input I get from comments on my lifts, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, and conversations I have with people I run into either at work, or here with the family. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the concept of, you're old, should stop lifting heavy. And I'm not going to say it's right, wrong, or indifferent. You'll hear that from a lot of people directed towards, I think, once you hit 40. I've been hearing that phrase since I hit 40. You should stop lifting heavy. You're going to get hurt. There's no reason for you to do it. It's just ego lifting. And for those of the people that have decided to stop lifting heavy and go with lighter weights, that's a good decision. Nothing wrong with that decision, especially if you've had injuries, and you don't want to have the repeat of injuries. That's a real concern. And so I'm never gonna tell people, well, you stopped lifting heavy, you gave up, or any of that stuff. I said you changed the way you're going to train. Because lifting lighter weights and doing higher reps is just as vigorous as what I do. And I do try to mix it up. But here is my thoughts on that. All right? And it's my sole opinion. Others may share it, others may not, and that's great. All right? I'm going to keep lifting heavy as long as I can. It's not ego lifting. It's being true to myself. Just because somebody lifts more than you does not make it an ego lift. And for you to sit there and take the time and type that out, oh, it's an ego lift. You just do your workout and be happy with it. Us posting heavier lifts is no judgment upon you. It's saying, hey, here's what we've accomplished. We still think this can be accomplished. And here's a few of us that can do it. I had one comment, well, I guess that helped your ego and made you feel good about yourself and impress your friends. Okay. What's wrong with helping your ego out? What's wrong with increasing your own self-worth? The better you feel about yourself, the better you can treat others. The people who treat other people poorly, in my opinion, really are not happy with themselves. It's not always the case, but I think there's a good portion of it. And wanting to feel better about yourself, what's wrong with that? I want everybody to feel better about themselves. I want people to be happy with who they are. And if they're not happy with where they're at right now, be encouraged and be motivated to make the steps to improve yourself, whatever that improvement might be. All right? And what's wrong with impressing other people? What's wrong with impressing that? Hey, here's somebody that still lifts heavy. What's wrong with that? I don't see anything wrong with it. I had a young man come up to me and just was telling me how encouraged he is to keep lifting because when he sees me lift. He's not trying to lift what I lift, but he's going in the gym. probably more often than he would. What's wrong with that? So yes, I am impressed upon him that working out is good for you. What's wrong with that? So when I see these people, and a lot of them are just trolls, and I understand, but some people really truly think that this is something that they should put down. Oh, you're just an ego lift. No, it's a lift. It's a lift that I did. It's a lift that I didn't have to have help. It's a lift that I do generally about every week for the last 20 years. Not an ego lift. I will call it a maintaining lift. So that's my thought about ego lifting. About lifting heavy, that's a personal decision. I literally had my wife say, I think you should start lifting lighter. And I'm sure she's been reading the comments on my Facebook because she follows it. And probably even did a little bit of research because she'll do that. And I told her, I said, I don't disagree with you, but it's not me. All right, so I'm going to continue to lift heavy. Now I am throwing in high reps every now and then. And I'm going to continue to do that, but no, I'm still going to go after the heavy lift. So, it's getting almost November, and that's where I'm going to kick it into high gear to get it trained for early December. So that's where I am with that. So as motivation ebbs and flows. Last 2 weeks, I wasn't very motivated. My energy has been low. I've been probably sleeping too much and doing too little, in my opinion. Even though I'm probably more active than some, for me, I'm not. So I had to have that conversation with myself and say, it's time to step it back up on the game. And it's time to stop making it a point, oh my God, it's after 8 o'clock, I gotta leave in about an hour, I might as well just sit back and relax and don't even worry about this. I've been finding myself doing that. So it basically is gonna be, I'm going to force myself into the gym, whether it's down here or whether it's in town, and do some exercises, regardless how tired I feel. I know when I come home, I'm tired from work. And then I'm just sluggish when I get up because I'm not doing what I know to do. Go for the walk, get the sun, get moving, get down here, start pumping some weight, start getting the blood moving. It's the old adage, object at rest tends to stay at rest, and I've been at rest, so I gotta stop doing that. Object in motion tends to stay in motion, so I gotta start doing more of the motion. So this is where I ended up last time I lifted. And didn't email to put it up. Number one, because I haven't lifted in a while, and I've dropped some body weight. And all those things are going to affect you. So what do you do about it? Well, you go back to your training. And I know what my training is. My training is to start with the lighter weights, and then start building it up. I think I've been pushing this back. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, those don't sound like styrofoam weights, do they? When people say, well, why don't you show the whole video of you loading and unloading things? That's what YouTube's for. All right? Nobody is really going to watch a long video on Facebook. And I don't think you even have the ability to do it on Instagram. Now, I will upload this on Facebook and see what happens. It'll take a while. But it's time to get back into it. I can feel my joints feel better. I can feel there's no pain or any funny feelings anywhere. So it was good that I did take the time off and get all nice and rested. Now when people say, well, don't hold your head up when you're benching, I don't understand that part. They say, well, I could hurt your neck. I don't see it. So when you're calling out people with the eagle lift and that, you're not judging them, you're judging yourself. You're looking at yourself going, well, why can't I do that? And there's no reason why you have to. No one's saying you have to do what I do. No one's saying you have to do what Michael does at the Body Beatdown. Nobody says you have to do what Old School Fitness is doing, or LCK Fitness, or any of us other ones. We're doing what's good for us. And we do motivate each other and other people to keep exercising. To me, that's a win-win. That's a good thing all around. So when I see these comments, and sometimes I choose to respond to them, not bad, but I throw, here's my records. So yeah, I do it for recognition. I want to be a world-class lifter. It didn't start out being that goal. I came on to it by accident. All of a sudden I get a text, yeah, Brian just broke your world record at the last meet. My response was, I had a world record? I didn't know that. How much did he beat it by? 5 pounds, all right. So the next meet, I beat it. And we went back and forth for a few meets, and it was very motivating to have somebody at your same age and weight group, push it. We worked out together. We had a lot of fun with our workouts, our challenges, and that had a little, humor going on with it and things like that. I've got to work with Huck Finn, probably the strongest 242-pound bencher I know. I've got to compete with the Little Briggs, Ernie and his dad and his brother. I got to compete with Dan Bell. I mean, he's top line name. Got to speak with him a few times, even interviewed him once. But I mean, I've lifted at some of the same events he's lifted at. Obviously, I'm not in his weight class or strength, but he's an amazing person to watch. Jimmy Ray came down from Wisconsin, worked out with me. One of the very few people over 60 that has benched 500 pounds in a competition. Doing it in a gym and doing it in a competition are two different animals. Trust me. I've got to talk over the internet back and forth with the Stolman brothers. World's strongest man. And we're not close friends in that, but he would know my name. And I've got to see them at the Arnold's. I believe last year they were out there. I have met Jay Cutler. I have met Brian Shaw. Had a quick conversation with them. Both fine men. Got to get a picture with Bob Goldberg at the last Arnold, which was it happened. There was a line for it and I won't wait in a line to get a picture with people. Generally, I've done it. I did it for Jay Cutler and I did it for Brian Shaw, but I got there early. But I did a loop. There was like 30 people in line, and I came back about an hour later, and there was no one in line. They were still there. So I walked up. I said, well, either my timing's good, or you guys have stopped taking pictures. And the young man there, very nice young man, said, yeah, we've stopped. So no big deal. So I just did the old, pull up and hand him in the background. I did that picture. But he goes, no, if you want, he goes, come on in. I said, well, I don't want to get anybody in trouble. He goes, no, come on in. So that's how I got my picture with Bob Goldberg. He was kind of humorous. I said, yeah, my buddy Vince says you're a great guy. He's like, I don't believe everything you hear, in good humor. But, that's why I got the picture with him. And I really appreciate the young man that, allowed me to walk in there because, they didn't have to. When they said they were closed, I accepted it. So that was nice. So, eagle lifting, we do what we want to do. I was at a party 20 years ago, and we're all friends, people I knew. And the one was saying, well, yeah, he goes to the gym, and there's some of these people that are ridiculous. You know, they've got like 3 plates on each side, and there's just no reason to lift that much. And of course, one buddy, kind of an instigator, he seen his opportunity. He goes, oh, John, how many plates do you have on each side? I said, well, usually when I finish up, I have 4 on each side. And the other guy's wife's like, well, that's just ridiculous. There's no reason to do it. I said, there's no reason for you. Obviously, there's a reason for me to do it. And it's my own reason. And just because your husband can, doesn't make him any less of a person. And just because I can, doesn't make me any more of a person. It just makes me a person that lifts 405. So when you see people do that, because I see people mention 500, 600 pounds, 700 pounds, raw. It's just amazing when I see that. And that's what I tell them. I say, God, I'm so glad I got to see that. I don't say it's ego lifting because you're lifting more than me. It's like, you know, you're supposed to be an adult if you're in the fitness industry. And when I see people that I can tell probably do some workouts say that, I'm like, you know, I'm sorry that you haven't been in a hardcore gym. Don't have to be. But anyone in a hardcore gym would laugh at that comment. Now this is not even really count as a workout because of the light weight, but what does it count as a recommitment to get back into it? Everybody that's probably wondering, kind of went off the map. You know, I was posting a lot of older videos just to keep the activity going. Those are 45-pound weights. They painted them green and yellow because those are the paints I decided to buy. And those were my high school colors. Providence Celtics. Woo! And then somebody reminded me there's somebody else's colors too. And I'm like, okay, do I paint over them and paint them blue as they should be? And I may do that if I decide to get the energy, but I will probably pick up some more plates and either buy them as blue plates. Because I do plan on expanding what I do here. So I'm going to bring my trap bar in. It'll probably go over there. Got another curl bar that needs to come in. I'll tell my boy to grab that. And some more dumbbells to bring back inside. So this whole area I will convert into my mini gym. So today is just a quick light workout just to say, you know, I'm back into it. I've been playing around too long. Now it's time to get back into it. Tomorrow I'll probably do a heavier session. And probably around 3 in the afternoon. Just come down here to start lifting. And I think when I do that, I'm gonna play around with wide grip and close grip and do a lot of variations, you know, of that. And then probably towards the end of the week, I'll get in the gym and knock out some inclines and start pushing the inclines back up. Just gotta get more motivated. I had 2 things I could have done yesterday, and I missed out on both of them just because I was unmotivated. And I said, you know, I gotta stop doing that. So this is even to the motivated person. You have to have conversations and kind of a get it going type things. And sometimes it's something you just call some people, the right people. You know, if I talk to Vince Robbins at Shore Fitness, he'll get me motivated. Or Josh or Michael, you know, they'll say, you know, let's get back in there, get it going. You know, so those of you is actually lift light. That's nice. I ain't saying you're wrong, and if it's right for you, it's right for you. And I do start out light, that's how I warm up. But for those of you who say it's ego lifting in that, it's not. It's me being me. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I appreciate the comment, that's fine, but when you make that comment, are you really talking about me, or are you talking about yourself? Because I think you're talking about yourself. I think you see something that's making you feel bad, and it shouldn't. Really shouldn't. It's not what these lifts are about. Lifts are about me staying at the world-class stage and wanting to kick it to the next level. And that's where I'm at. I think I got one more big push in me for December, and then again in March. And then after that, yeah, I might change some things. I might go to, reps. I might go get some blood work done, see where my testosterone levels are, because I know the motivation and I've been kind of groggy, and it's because of that. I've been lethargic because of that, or because of this. So those are things that you all have to ask yourself. But right now, I'm not on any of that stuff. I try to do it just by willpower and lots of food, and I'll keep doing it that way as long as I can. Well, yeah, there might be a time that I have to go on some sort of, regimen to keep the testosterone up. But I will get some doctor's advice on that first. It's just something I personal preference I stay away from. As for the other stuff, I just stay away from it. There's no need for it. All right. So people say, oh, you're on gear. I'm not on gear. Ain't got the time or money for it. And yeah, I really look like I am. Some people say stupid things. All right, 25. This is probably down in the light workout. And like I said, it's kind of my pre-workout to really get back into it tomorrow. Been away from it too long, even though it was helpful. But now it's going to be some more of those. So remember, rest, nutrition, proper exercise, hydration, and just getting in the gym and lift.